So, in my last video, I had talked about my accomplishments for 2021. Now, I am proud of my accomplishments, but as the saying goes, proud but never satisfied. Also, as Anthony Davis said when he won the 2020 championship, run it back. And, as the late great Kobe Bryant said, job's not done. Job finished? I don't think so. So, although I'll most likely be doing the same thing again, as, if it's not broken, don't fix it, there are some tweaks I'll be making to every area of my life that I'm going to optimize. Yes, going to optimize, not trying to optimize. I'm giving myself no choice but to succeed. Failure is not an option. The three primary areas of my life I'm going to optimize are number 1, career, number 2, assets, number 3, aesthetics. Now, this is an oversimplistic view of my goals. Under each category, there are numerous aspects of my life, so I'll break it down further. Here are all the components of my life that will be optimized and enhanced in 2022. Now, these are in no particular order, although I imagine career is probably the number 1 focus and the part-time job is the lowest on the list, although I do consider it important still. Number 1, full-time job as an accountant. Number 2, my part-time essential worker job. Number 3, my CPA studies. Number 4, gym performance and my physique. Number 5, my stocks and crypto investments. And number 6, my businesses. Last year, I made pretty significant progress with all 6. I not only secured a full-time job, but I also got a promotion and became an important part of a business. I passed 2 CPA exams, as well as a CTA 1 Foundations exam from the Tax Institute, but I've discontinued that course, so there isn't any further progress to be made on that front. For now. Who knows what the future holds? I had a decent year of gym, all things considered. The lockdowns were a nuisance and I was getting my body used to the whole 7-day work week plus studying thing. I had done 7-day work weeks with gym in the past, around December 2019 to March 2020, but I had no study and my calories were considerably higher, plus I was only doing 70 to 90 minute workouts, as opposed to the 120 to 150 minute ones I was doing for most of this year. My lifts didn't go up too much, admittedly, but as mentioned, the lockdowns didn't help with this. Additionally, it wasn't really a goal of mine. I was going through the motions for most of the year, but I found my flame again. Signing up to this new gym, I'm now the little fish in the big pond, so this has given me an extra kick up the arse. Not that I needed another one. I went through old pics of what I used to look like years ago, and that was enough to reignite the flame. I had received extra responsibilities and was taught new tasks at the supermarket job. It was nice being given the keys to some manager-related tasks. Now, some might scoff at the idea of trying at your supermarket/fast food or so-called dead-end jobs, but I'll do my best while I'm inside the company walls. Plus, it can help my primary career somewhat. Additionally, it gives me extra skills I could use for other weekend jobs in the future, should I ever need to find a new weekend job. The skills I've acquired at the supermarket transfer well into many factory/retail jobs out there. I became familiar with the whole stock and crypto market in 2021. Now, I'm no expert on it, but I do know a lot. I did dabble in stocks and crypto in late 2017 and early 2018, back when the major crypto run was happening. My gym buddy at the time would always mention it on the car drive to gym, so naturally I jumped into the world myself. I didn't know much though. I only knew Bitcoin, Ethereum and Litecoin. I had some money in Bitcoin and Litecoin, and my mate was very bullish on Litecoin, but I kind of preferred Ethereum, so I actually ended up putting a little bit of money into that as well. Now, why did I prefer Ethereum? Well, I just like the name better. Sound investment advice, hey. I didn't put any extra money in it other than the initial $300 to $400 I put in late 2017. If only I dollar cost average into it. I also signed up to Plus 500, which was advertised heaps back then on my socials. I put like $750 on Amazon back then. The reason? Someone mentioned it on a YouTube video I saw before. Again, much investor, such knowledge. A few months passed and my account was at $0. Not sure what happened. I must have bought $750 of options that expired in a few months or something. Or the platform was a scam. Either way, that was the extent of my stock market knowledge. Whereas now, I know all the terms like shorting stocks, ETFs, mutual funds, call options, put options, etc. I also know that most hedge funds fail to beat the market, so it's better to invest into an ETF that tracks the market, which has historically had an annual return of 7% adjusted for inflation. And to just hodl. Another term I learnt this year, which stands for hold on for dear life. I always thought it was an internet way of saying hold. I also learnt about many crypto projects and their utilities and functions, Layer 1 solutions, other little concepts like the Bitcoin halving, Ethereum's absurd gas fees, Cardano's failed smart contracts, etc. Sounds like this is not a big deal, just knowing this is sort of common knowledge stuff, but recall back in 2017 I knew next to nothing. So going forward, I know where to keep up to date on the current knowledge in anticipation for market moves. My last major achievement was that I started my business. I had started a business in 2019 as a PT, obviously doing a fitness business, but that didn't really work out. I had an ABN and a different business name and everything. So this year, I decided to start a business again. In fact, this time round, I want to start 2 businesses. And by start 2 businesses, I mean continue them. I've already technically started them. But this time round, I'm doing the businesses online, simply because of scale. And my time is booked out anyway. It's unfeasible to do anything in person since I'm required in person at my 2 jobs, and I'm required in person at gym to make my own gains, and I'm required in person to study my own subjects. Obviously, I can't have someone do that for me. Now, these businesses haven't made too much progress, but the fact that I started them is an accomplishment in itself in my eyes. The first step is the hardest step. So, I've outlined roughly what I achieved in 2021. So now it's time to go over what I want to / will achieve in 2022. Full-time job / corporate career. As well as this is going, and as happy as I am with the current role, I have ambitions to progress in my role. I can't really go into detail here since it would violate some confidential information, but I'm going to strive to generate more detailed reports and create more structured systems in place to make the current accounts network easier. A pay rise would also be nice. Part-time job / retail job. Nothing much extra to add here. It's my part-time job and there isn't much extra I can do without a promotion, which won't happen here since there's no manager roles for only weekend staff. But I guess the goal is to keep up the weekend work. I somehow managed it for a full year, so let's keep this train going. Study / professional development. So as mentioned before, I passed 3 exams last year. In 2022, it's only going to be 2, since I'm only doing CPA now and not CTA. But obviously, we still want to make progress with the professional development. The subjects I'll be enrolling in are Australia taxation and financial reporting. Some people will try to gun for a HD on each unit. I mean, it would be nice, but let's be realistic here. I'm going to try to spend 10 hours a week at the gym, and I'm working about 58.5 hours per week, sometimes more when I pick up extra woolly shifts, including a 1-hour drive per way, Monday to Friday. So yeah, not a lot of extra time left for the studies. Now you may think that having study as the lower priority here is silly, but hear me out. The part-time job gives much needed extra money, and the extra gym time is necessary for my aesthetics and overall health goals. And in terms of my career, whether I get a pass or a HD, it makes little difference on my job. and it doesn't make any difference at the end of the course. I either get it or I don't. If I get all passes, which I've already got a credit in digital finance, so that can't happen, or whether I get all HDs, which also can't happen at this point, I still get my CPA. Now, you could also say, well, getting a HD means you have learned more since you answered more questions correctly. Well, yes, but actually no. I'm 110% sure that everyone has had this happen to them, where they've studied hard for their exam, they've passed it, and forgotten the entire unit 2 weeks later. It's the things you do repeatedly, day in and day out, that stick in your brain. If there's anything in my CPA subject that I need in my job, I'll remember it. If not, I'll forget it. Either way, whether I studied it or not. If I need that extra knowledge later in my career, I'll just come back to the textbook. So yeah, a long way of saying, my 2022 goals include progressing in my CPA studies. Aesthetics/gym. So as briefly alluded to in the previous section, I plan on spending 10 hours a week at gym. This won't be feasible year-round, as I take time off gym during the exam period, and sometimes I'll have too many social events on, and sometimes I'll need deloads/extra rest days. But with the new routine I've structured, the plan is 5 times a week with approximately 2 hours each session. I think one is planned to be 2.5 hours, but another plan is to be 1.5 hours, so yeah, about 2 hours per session. But that includes the longer warm-ups I have planned to further strengthen my joints/tendons and prolong my longevity in the gym. I don't want to have to fork out unnecessary money on heaps of trips to the chiro or physio when I could have just spent an extra 5 minutes in the gym every session to prevent the issue. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. My old routine was roughly 4 days, with an upper and lower split with about 8 to 8.5 hours of gym per week, which was good, but it lacked some arm volume, which I need to ramp up. My arms have been lagging for years, and I've known how to fix it, but I refuse to have an arm day. I've always trained arms after compound movements for my chest/back, which impeded the volume/intensity available for my arms specifically. But now, I've bitten the bullet, and now I have a designated arm day. Let's go! Stocks and crypto investments. So to be honest, I'm a little worried about the near future of the market, with the Fed recently announcing that they're going to be tapering the stimulus, aka helping the economy less. This means less money for the economy, meaning less money for people to spend on the economy/market as a whole, meaning less money for the businesses. The projected increase in interest rates also means that these businesses are going to have to pay more to borrow money, so as a whole they're probably going to have to charge more for their services as well. You would think that this means their stock price would increase since their sales figures/revenue would increase, but you'd still have less people purchasing overall, as well as the higher prices causing their expenses to rise as well, which eats into their profits. They report lower profits, stock prices fall. The Fed is also raising interest rates, meaning the businesses can't borrow as much/borrowing becomes more expensive, meaning they grow slower, which means slower growth in the stock price. And crypto is just a damn mess at the moment. There's a lot of FUD about how it's going to be regulated going forward, and a lot of FUD in the economy as a whole. And we all know how volatile crypto is already. I do believe in it long term. I am a bull, I am bullish, but I need the money within the next 12 to 16 months for my land and house deposit. And if the crypto market 10x's in valuation in 5 years, that's useless to me as I need my money in the short term. So unless I see signs of reversal, I'll be putting very little, if any, money into the stocks and crypto market in the near future. I may try to look at the whole shorting stocks/buying, selling, call options, put options, as I have exposure to it now, something I did not have at the start of 2021, but I haven't educated myself enough on it to be super comfortable with it. I tend to save most of my gambling for my Sportsbet and Ladbrokes account. Business slash side hustle. Okay, the big dog. So I made a start on this, but I somewhat lost interest slash gave up on it at some point during 2021. I think this maybe was due to digital finance at CPA starting up. Okay, maybe give up is the wrong wording, but my focus went away from growing the business. I mean, this was necessary as CPA studies hold priority, but I really wasn't thinking about the business like at all. I don't think I worked a single minute on the business for like 2 months. Most of the spare time was spent doing extra study. Perhaps not all of that time was necessary. However, the one investment I'm making on my CPA studies and professional development will pay dividends sooner and are way more guaranteed than the time I'm spending on growing my businesses. The extra skills I can add to my career will be reflected in salary raises, whereas, for all I know, it's possible that no one discovers my businesses or engages in them. So it's a safer move for the meanwhile to prioritize CPA exams. Damn, I've spent the whole time making excuses as to why I didn't spend as much time on my businesses. And here the video topic is what I hope to slash will achieve in 2022, but it's somewhat important context. I will obviously continue my CPA studies as previously mentioned, but I'll allocate more time to my businesses. And, at the moment, my main focus has been on the YouTube presence, but I will look at adding content to the Instagram and TikTok and Twitter accounts, as well as any other social media platforms I see fit at the time. I also intend on adding more content to the current LinkedIn page that I've just started in the recent few days. Oh, the Facebook page as well, of course. How could I forget? So we've got Facebook, LinkedIn, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at the moment. There's also an email, but that's not really a social media platform, is it? Now, I cringe at having to use TikTok, but the algorithm is insane. I literally make such low effort videos and I get 500 views, even though I didn't tell anyone I know about them. So none of those views are from my friends. Trash app, but godly algorithm. So just in case you don't know, I essentially have the Game of Life brand and the Gains of Life brand. Names may be subject to change since there's already the board game, Game of Life, and there's already a channel called The School of Life, which was my next option. I want the name to be focused around treating life as a video game, where you level up in some aspects and whatnot. And I want the gym slash fitness related channel slash business to have a similar name too. So if these names stick, great. If not, I'm sure I'll find something else. No use spending months trying to come up with the perfect name and not executing on the business idea. Game of Life is essentially career slash study slash income focused, whereas Gains of Life is more gym focused. I was going to do the 2-in-1, but other channels I've seen tend to have success sticking to a particular niche. I follow channels such as Stefan Den, Success by Sanjana, who are more career slash study slash income focused, and I follow channels such as Jeff Nippard, More Plates, More Dates, amongst many others, who are just gym focused. I have so much to say about each of these two distinct topics, so I decided to keep them separate. I imagine it will be jarring for the audience who follow me for career improvements, only to get a notification for a video on why you should be taking wheat germ oil in the next video, and vice versa. If you're after some training slash nutrition tidbits and you see a video come up on the next day, 5 job interview experiences I've had, you'd be like, what does this have to do with my aesthetics? So I've split the two. So, growing the businesses more. I plan on getting better at video editing. At the moment you can see it's essentially just a slideshow with a voiceover. So I would like to increase the production quality. However, these videos at the moment are essentially MVPs. No, not like they're the best or anything, but MVP stands for minimum viable product. This is a concept from the startup world, and essentially it's where you develop a new product to launch to customers slash consumers, and it's the most basic version of the product. From this, you gauge interest from customers, receive feedback, and improve the product based on the aforementioned feedback. It doesn't make sense to invest time and resources away from the other aspects of my life that I know will benefit me. Example, working on the weekends at Woolies. I know it pays off since I receive a weekly paycheck every Tuesday night. Going to the gym. I know it pays off since I've already seen the work over the years, as well as the initial pump during the workout. And studying, well, same as gym really. I know it works due to all the work I've done for it over the years. I've established that foundation, aka my bachelor's degree, and I have the full-time job that is directly benefited from the study. So a little side tangent, but what I'm getting at is I'm not going to spend 30 hours editing a video that might get 10 views, when I could have spent that 30 hours working some extra shifts and receiving that extra initial cash for my down payment on my land/house, or using that extra time for study/gym. So I need to just get that minimum viable product out to the market, test if there's an audience for it, gauge feedback from the consumers, as you know, the customer is always right. Learned that one from Woolies. And improve the product from there. I imagine any audience I attract isn't going to be for my production quality anyway. I imagine it'll be for my unique perspective on various aspects of life and learning from my journey to help them out in some way. Now, you could also argue that, well, your business will grow over the years if you put in the work now. And while that is true, given my current situation, I cannot afford to take time away from my second job, study, gym, etc. to put more work into this, as much as I would want to do that. But yeah, a very long-winded way of saying, I plan on working more on my businesses in 2022. So those are essentially my main areas of my life that I will be focusing on in 2022. I'm sure when you see other videos like this, people will also mention mental health and time with friends and family. Yes, time with friends and family is important, but that will happen organically in my instance. If someone has a birthday or we go out to celebrate something for someone, then I know that'll happen when it happens. I'm not going to pre-plan someone's birthday for them or force a hangout when everyone else is busy and has their own priorities. As for my mental health, I won't talk much about it as it's beyond the tone/scope of this video, but mine is fine. I'm fortunate enough that my jobs aren't a major burden on my mental space, and gym really helps clear the mind, despite the hindered progress I have learned to live with. As long as I keep on top of my studies, I won't fail, and thus I won't have a damaged state of mind. The stocks and crypto market take up some free rent in my headspace, but I've learned not to get too emotional about it, and I'm confident in my ability to make sound investment decisions where I see fit. As for the businesses, it'll grow when the time is right. If I get no new subs or followers on any of the platforms in 2022, so be it. I'll try again the following year. Enough in my life is going right at the moment. I pray to the higher powers above that nothing ruins this or derails the current freight train to my goals that I've got going. So that's a wrap. That's my goals for 2022. Let me know what you've got planned for 2022 in the comments below. That is all.